start with the first question. Why? Because I'm up here, so shut up. That's why. The first question, Mr. James White. Starvo, what the hell were you thinking, man?
Really? You just don't let up, do you?
Oh, yes. I'm going full Larry King on you, my friend. We're asking the hard-hitting stuff, so we're going to start with that one.
Look, it's a fair enough question, and I'm pleased that you asked, to be honest. So look, we have reflected and thought a lot about what happened with Starvo, because he has been pretty good. He's been pretty good. And we went back and we sort of reviewed the process of developing Starvo and where he ended up. And I can tell you that legitimately that hero was a tier 2 hero in development. And the reason why is because during the development of Everfest, Briar was not errated and Plunderon was not banned. And that meant that Bravo lost to Briar and a lost to Chain and a lost to Prism, as the world proved. And when it lost to like the 3 best decks, it was like, yeah, he's fine, he's tier 2, that's all good, ship it. And
Hashtag ship it.
And then, so look, for us, the learning from this is trying to have more foresight into what the formats might look like in the future, particularly as we start seeing heroes rotating out with living legends and trying to make some, educated guesses on what heroes may or may not be legal when we're actually working on heroes that are coming out in the future. But that's what happened with Starvo. We thought he was okay. Ship it.
Ship it. There you go. That's going to be the name of the next set after Uprising is Ship It. All right. So let's go with the first question there from Mr. Listen, I know your name, so we don't have to say it, but when you do come up to the microphone, ladies and gentlemen, please just tell us your name, where you're from, and we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Matt from the United Kingdom. I know, James, you used to be a bit of a grinder back in your day. I know you've played a few Pro Tours in Magic. I was wondering, I got a spare PTI. If I gift it to you, would you be interested in playing the Pro Tour tomorrow?
It's very generous of you, Matthew. I'm a bit rusty. I'm too busy running the company.
Don't
I don't have time to play this game.
Give it to me, Matt. I'll put it to good use for sure. Absolutely.
I bought a deck. If I have some downtime, I might take some gunslinging challenges. You can catch me on the LSS booth from time to time. Come and take on the master. See if you got it.
Thank you, James. That's great. Thank you, Matt. All right, next up.
Thank you guys for putting this on. And my question to James is, can we expect an appearance from a 4th hero in the upcoming set, whether it be draftable or otherwise?
Well, I want to talk about Uprising. I do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Uprising.
I just want to preface this for everybody. There's certain things that unfortunately cannot be divulged here because there's a plan for the reveals and such.
Sure.
So I know. You guys are the best of the best, obviously the Pro Tour players, etc. And you guys deserve to have a little something, but there's a process. So James, I don't know what you can give away.
We'll give it a go, right? We'll give it a go. I know it's a question that a lot of people are interested in. So look, I will say that Uprising is a fantastic draft format. It's I really like Tales of Aria for booster draft. Not so much sealed deck, but booster draft was awesome. Uprising, I might like it even more than Tales. It's really, really good. And I can tell you that the 3 hero draft formats, they work well. They work well. It worked well in Tales, and it works well in Uprising. So to answer your question, there is 3 heroes in Uprising. You know what they are. You might be like, well, how does that work for booster draft? Because there's like 2 Dragonic and like 1 Ice. I can tell you it works. You just got to believe me, it works. And we have some incredible design innovation in Uprising that I'm very proud of, specifically for our limited formats. Here's a bit of a teaser for you. In Uprising Limited, you are going to get to put some cards into your deck similar to Cracked Baubles, but they do more than a Cracked Bauble. They're a Cracked Bauble that you can actually attack with. But having access to like cards outside of the draftable, the cards that you draft or outside of your sealed pool, does some really, really funky things for the limited formats. In addition to that, we have something that we call in development the community head. So it's a piece of head equipment that you can just free roll. You can just add it to your card pool. and it makes a really big difference to this format. So like that's a couple of like little tidbits of spoilers for you guys of like the kind of innovations that we're bringing into Uprising to make it an incredible limited experience, particularly for Booster Draft. I think it's a very good sealed format as well, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Ship it.
Ship it.
Ship it.
I'll take this out. Hi, I'm Sean from Montreal, and
Go Habs, go.
go Habs, go! But Flake, you kind of stole my question. No. It has to do with future-proofing. I think a lot of us, and this mic is like really short.
You're just really tall, dude.
I am really tall.
Congratulations.
It has to do with future-proofing. So I've been, like a lot of the players here, I'm in love with the product. We've been playing it for, in my case, since Arcane Rising. And we've seen certain things happen that, a lot of people will get shaky about, and this is a positive thing. With Dromai, or Drome, how do you pronounce that?
Dromai.
Dromai, okay. With Dromai and Faye and Icelander coming in Uprising, we can't help but think, what did you guys do internally to make sure that we were all going to have kind of a level playing field across all champions? Because I personally love Dorinthia. I'd love to be able to play Dorinthia in CC. She's just not there right now. Mm-hmm. What can we expect?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a great question, but like I would say that the expectation that every hero is always like tournament viable in terms of like you could go and win a tournament with any single hero, it's just not very realistic. There's always going to be ebbs and flows and which hero is good and which hero is like fallen off the pace for that particular season. So I can't promise you that Dorinthia is about to become good. Probably at some point in the future she will get good again though. But how do we do our best to make the Uprising Classic Constructed format great? Yeah. We just play lots of games. Like, good. We have a team of people, and that's all they do. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, they play lots of games, and they report data back, and we make adjustments, and we think that Uprising is a great product. We think that it's going to be a great Classic Constructed format. We'll shake it up, and we just do our best, and then we ship it.
And then you ship it. Thank you very much.
Ship it.
Can we expect a star of the show treatment for our older adult heroes from Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising?
Yes.
Thank you.
I already shipped it. It's coming sooner than you think.
That's the thing. Get the shirts ready, man.
Yeah.
James
Get the
White,
shirts.
he ships it.
I shipped it.
So there are a lot of Flesh and Blood fans that not only love the game, but also love the stories they've created. And so I'm wondering if there's a timeline of release for more reading material.
Okay, so at this point in time, our lore is getting published through website content. But I can tell you that we have recently hired some very well-established fantasy writers based in New Zealand. They've done work for Weta Workshop in the past, the film company that did Lord of the Rings. So there's some very established writers who have joined us to start building out more of the written lore. It's definitely in the pipeline to get more books into publication. The books will be a 2023 thing, so I do ask for a little bit more patience, but there will be more of that lore, that rich lore coming through the website. And like you've already started to see that with the Morlock Hill story, Icelander's journey, the Uprising previous season, pre-previous season piece of content that came through was Shiana going to the palace. And as we head into the previous season for Uprising proper, you'll start to see the backstories for Dromai, Phi, to a higher level of detail and production quality than maybe what you were used to in the past from our studio. But we are committed to it, and books are coming. They're a little way off, though.
My name's Alex, TD Alex, for those of you who know me. My question is around, similar to the Starvo question. You mentioned also that there are some heroes that you expect that will sort of stay in the game, like let's call it evergreen, because they're just not as good or not as competitive. But my question is more around, do you have an expectation for how long you expect a hero to remain in a season? So what we've seen with Starvo is the release came out earlier this year, and Starvo is already getting to get Living Legend. You personally, do you feel like there's a appropriate length of time that a hero should remain in season, so to say?
Well, I don't think that there's like a perfect length of time, but I think that like one set release cycle is too fast. Like Starvo coming out on Everfest and gone by Uprising is, in my view, too fast. And like that has a lot to do with the changes that happened with the Briar Rata and Plunderine getting banned, and then all of a sudden, like, the guy was just sort of off the leash and not kept in check like we thought he would be. And that led to, just a completely dominant ProQuest season that, like, they put him close to living legend. One thing to just keep in mind as we move forward, and we touched on this with the FAB 2.0, is as the number of events globally start to scale up, the number of living legend points that heroes get from the global reaching seasonal programs like ProQuest and Road to Nationals will be adjusted accordingly. And the reason we do that is so that we don't end up in scenarios where, like, a hero is released, in a booster set and then hits living legend within like 3 or 4 months. That's too fast.
Hiya, Sean, shockingly from the UK. So one of the things I really enjoyed about the game when I was learning it was that compared to the vast majority of card games on the market is that play and draw felt like a really interesting decision. It wasn't strictly better to go first or second. In recent kind of, this metagame, to be honest, right? So you've got Prism, Starvo. These are decks that really benefit from going first. Is this something you're kind of aware of to like try and help mitigate in the future?
So this is, So, yeah, it's knowing about you're asking essentially about when certain heroes benefit from going first or going second, and that's kind of what it is. And are you aware of that when designing it? Correct?
Yeah, sorry. Absolutely. I mean, the people who are developing a game, like the top caliber players, and a lot of them we've actually started recruiting from the Flesh and Blood community itself. People who have like really demonstrated excellence in the Flesh and Blood tournament circuit, particularly in New Zealand. And prior to that, it was people that we had brought in that were like former Magic the Gathering Platinum Pros, for example, Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship top 8 competitors. So we have some very high caliber players on the development team. And of course, we're very aware that some heroes and some strategies benefit greatly from going first or going second. But it's just kind of one of those things that it's intrinsic to trading card games. Like, that's always going to exist no matter what game system that you're playing. Like, some decks just have an advantage going first or second.
Would you prefer that, like, obviously developmental things, there's a lot of moving things and stuff, but do you think it's, in a perfect world, there wouldn't be any advantage to first or second?
I can't really
So you're asking, like, in a perfect world, would heroes essentially not necessarily benefit equally from first or second? But I think he's asking, would a perfectly balanced hero be fine going first or second, no advantage, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look, I think that there's many other metrics that we care about more than that specific thing when we're developing the game. And that's one of the intrinsic things about trading card games that, sometimes there is somewhat of an advantage in that particular area of the game, but I don't think that it's like fatal to the overall outcomes of generally the best players end up winning more matches and winning tournaments. And I think from the Flesh and Blood tournament results, that's been proven substantially to date.
Yeah, agree. Thank you very much.
So my question is also about Living Legend. So obviously when Starvo gets Living Legend very soon, all of his cards are still legal, they're still playable. But the next hero in line is Prism, and when she goes, obviously we lose all of the Light Illusionist cards. So I kind of want to know what your plan or timescale is for replacing that. Are we going to get a playable token immediately that's a weaker version? Or do we just have to wait for them to come back around again?
Yep, great question. So look, the intention with the Living Legend rotation model was always that some classes or talent class matches would rest for a little bit. So when Prism does become Living Legend, don't expect another Light Illusionist to just like come out straight away. We want that card pool to just rest for a little bit, but players should have confidence that another Light Illusionist will come out in due course.
And until then, they can burn people to death with dragons, right? Yeah, it'll work. Thank you.
So my question's in relation to Phi, the new character.
Yep.
He is I assume he is of Chinese descent, and the actual spoken translation for Phi in Cantonese means fast. So I'm wondering if that has any relationship to the gameplay or the lore of this character.
I like that question. I want to talk about Phi. Phi is very dear to my heart. As I mentioned on your podcast, I think.
Well, I don't want to, drop a free plug there.
Yeah, you should watch this guy's podcast.
I appreciate
really good.
that.
Instant Speed podcast.
You did mention it because this is the story. If anybody's not aware, this is the one where it was New Year's Eve and you were like up in your castle there, toiling away at this eureka moment that you had, right?
Yeah, Fi was the hero that I realized that cycles were a thing in that game. So that's the reason why Fi is very dear to me. And he goes back a long way. As many of our heroes have, like Chain is another example of a hero that's been around for a very long time. But I digress. Getting back to your point, that Fi, he is a fast character. He does make long combat chains. He is, his name is sort of derived from, I guess, a play on fire as well. Volcor is the region of fire. And Uprising is a very interesting set in terms of the lore of the game of Flesh and Blood and the World of Wraith. So, look, the story of Uprising is we're in the region of Volcor, and Volcor has like a two-class tier system. You have the Imperials that live up in the Molten Mansion, which are known as the Drakai. And they're like, the royal bloodline. And they're represented by the dragon. And then you have all of like the commoners, the common folk who live in the outlands, in the villages and the settlements. And these people are known as the Volkai. So you got the Drakai and you got the Volkai. And the Volkai are represented by the Phoenix. And the reason that they're represented by the Phoenix is because these people are oppressed, and oftentimes their like settlements in their villages suffer what we refer to as like a molten cleansing, where just like streams of lava just like flow through and just wipe out their settlements in their villages, and they had to be quite kind of like nomadic and move around. And like the Phoenix really symbolizes this in terms of like rising from their ashes. Like these people just have to continually keep rising from their ashes. But once every great cycle, the Phoenix rises to challenge the dragon. And that is the story of Uprising. So Fi, he is the leader of the rebellion, or one of the leaders of the rebellion, representing the Volkai and the rising of the Phoenix. And you'll see that very, very strongly through his gameplay.
Thank you. I heard a ship it out there. Ship it!
Hello there. My name is Mark. I'm from the Seattle area in Washington. And I wanted to ask about Dash's border, actually, because her border is all like the Mechanologist borders and such. And I wanted to ask if you had intention to make it a talent in like a metric set coming up, like the Biomancer and the Alchemist on the lore for metrics. I wanted to ask about that, or if you put it away to not like push Dash out and something like that.
Yeah, this is a good question. I get asked this question quite a bit, and the answer is it's kind of both. It's a funky thing. If I had to say, is it a class or is it a talent? It's a class, but it's a funky class. And you guys will see as we go forward, like there is a reason why it's like mono Mechanologist frame across the entire map and not just the hero and the specializations. There is a reason to the madness. I don't want to spoil all of the secrets in one sitting, but yeah, you'll see.
Mech Warrior?
Maybe. Maybe.
Look, he just sneaks that one in there.
Okay, hello guys. Hello James. Hello people, fellow players, hello.
I like this guy.
I like it too.
This is George from organizedplay.eu. We've spoken.
Yeah, we have spoken.
It's very nice to meet you. My question is, I think it's the hardest one. It's about competitive play and some of the premier tournaments.
Okay.
Will you go on tour for some of the premier tournaments, and especially, let's go for the Battle Hardened. Will you go for Battle Hardened in a lot of countries, in other countries, and especially a little country called Greece, my country, the cradle of civilization. A cheer for Greece. Woo! Will you?
You're asking for more events in Greece.
If you're going to do more events on like Battle Hardened in other countries, not only Spain and France, if you're going to go on tour,
Right. So more major events in like more countries, not necessarily just European, but like all over the place, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. We're just getting started here, man. Like, we're only 2 years in.
You know what that reminds me of? Whenever I go visit my parents back in Montreal, the second I walk in there, I'm there for 3 days. With the second I walk in the door, my mom's like, "When are you coming back?" I'm like, "I just got here. Like, enjoy this right here. We got it. It's coming. I'll be back in a second." But I agree. I mean, let's be real. There's been no callings in Canada either, and that's something that I'm also. I mean, like, I gotta say, and I know that. Like, let's hear it for Canada. Who's from Canada here? We got it. Ship it.
Yeah. We are waiting for you in Greece as well.
Yeah. Thank you for your support, though, George. I know that you're doing good things in Greece. Look, Europe is a very important territory for us, as we demonstrated by bringing Pro Tour Lille to France in August. So it's more accessible for all of the incredible Europeans who have traveled across the Atlantic to be here today. Amazing turnout from Europe. And look, we will be sharing the Pro Tour stops around all three of the macro level territories. Pro Tour will be coming to Asia Pacific as well in the future. But look, just be a little bit patient. We're just getting started. There's going to be a lot of great events all across the world, I promise you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hi, James. I'm Patrick. I'm from Germany, and I have a short question. Are we going to play the upcoming World Championship in New Zealand, and are we playing in the Shire?
Oh, okay. So this is a World Championship. If it's going to be in New Zealand, is that what you're asking? And then will we be able to sit down and play?
I mean, if I can get an answer to that.
Did the Nazgul like just rail through the Shire yet at this point? I don't know. I'm just saying, but I guess that's a good question. And I know that World Championships is something that a lot of people want to know. I want to know.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you can say about the World Championships.
All right. So firstly, the World Championship is not coming to New Zealand. It's just too much of an ask. Like, are you guys really going to try? Do you know how hard it was for me to get from New Zealand up here? It's hard. I'm not going to ask all of you guys to do it too.
Man, I need an excuse to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, but I can tell you we are going to have some special events in New Zealand. We're going to have an invitational in New Zealand for a very small selected representation from the community, a mix of community representation and top players that is going to take place at some point in time. And maybe a couple of years away, but we are going to make that happen in New Zealand. We're going to bring the fans down. We're going to treat them to the New Zealand experience, maybe including some of the Middle Earth stuff, like you said, because there's some good stuff there. But we are not bringing the World Championship to New Zealand. We're bringing the World Championship to the US in 2022.
Thank you very much.
My name's Alexander. In your opinion, do you believe that your players are good at adapting to new situations, or do you think that a lot of times they don't adapt fast enough?
All right, so the question is, do players in general adapt to like new metas? Like, are you saying like quick enough or such, or like, because right now I think is a very sort of influx time. Like with the ban and restricted announcement that occurred, there's a lot of, I don't want to say uncertainty necessarily, but there's a lot of people out there, I guess, I mean, I'm sure everybody can agree that there was a lot of people who just didn't know what the hell they were going to do moving into this Pro Tour.
Yeah.
So,
look, I think it's a great question. And look, with any kind of high performance sport or endeavor, it's all about the hours that you put in. If you put the hours in, you're going to adapt to the meta quickly. If you're playing sort of like ad hoc, casually, you're not. But that's the same with any kind of like competitive high performance endeavor in my view.
Hey, want to say thank you so much for creating this game. All the work that y'all have put into it, FAB 2.0, excellent. Million questions I could ask. When's Necromancer? When are we going to metrics? But the biggest question I have is, it seems like there's a long time between Uprising and the next draftable set. And is there a future where maybe we see an expansion set, a draft set, an expansion set, a draft set, all in 1 year, just to keep the draftable and sealed format a little bit more fresh?
Yeah. Good question, and I take it you're asking this because you like booster draft, yeah? Yeah, thank you. We put a lot of effort into our booster draft sets. We really do, and I think the Affliction Blade is a great draftable game. Our current release schedule is 3 sets per year, standalone expansion. So you are really waiting about 6 months between draftable sets at this point in time. Could that change going forward? Yeah, it could. I don't want to release more than 4 major sets per annum. I think that's like the kind of the cap for like full-on booster set releases. It's really important to me. I've been a gamer. I'm a gamer just like you guys. You need to have time to enjoy the product. You need to have time to explore the nuances of the product. So 4 per year is the limit for me, in my view, to be able to give the fans the time to digest it and enjoy the product. But yes, it is a possibility that we get there and you get 2 draftable sets per annum.
Cool. And Necromancer?
And Necromancer.
Oh, mate, the lore book, it has all those classes in it. They're coming eventually. I'm not going to tell you when.
Thank you.
Anything more, we're going to have to like elbow drop you from up here.
Hi, James.
How you doing, my man?
Good.
Do I know you?
I don't know. We've met once or twice.
Okay.
People might not know, but you do have a background as a tournament organizer yourself. When I was growing up, I went to a lot of awesome tournaments that you organized for a lot of cool games. I just wanted to ask, with that background, what does the first Pro Tour mean to you? Like this amazing game that you created with like a great team and everything. What does it mean to just look around and see all these people coming together in the flesh and blood to get together for a game you've made? Is it? I just want to hear.
Thank you very much for asking that question, Kieran. And yeah, like for most of you who don't know this, my career in this industry has been quite long, over 20 years, and it really started out just off my own back running Magic events in New Zealand just independently. And what Kieran was referring to was when he was a young fella, like quite a young fella, like his parents dropping him off, for the day. He was like playing in the events that myself and my team were running. And it's come a very long way from the Parnell Library with a good turnout was 40 people to what we're looking at this weekend, where we have over 1,100 unique players registered for the Pro Tour and the calling. What does that mean to me personally? It's one of the damn highlights of my life. Like, this is the mission. The mission was to bring people together in the flesh and blood through the common language of playing great games, and this is it. Yeah. This is it, at its pinnacle. And I feel so grateful that people have come here from all across the world, to make that happen. And I will be eternally grateful, and this will go down in history as one of the highlights of my life, and I thank you very much.
Awesome. Me too. Thank you, James.
Yeah. All right, so just want to let everyone know we're fortunately we're going to be wrapping up soon. We got 3 more questions because James got to go back and start tearing up that 4th hero that apparently is not happening. So that's how it's happening. So 3 more questions, but James is you're going to be at the Pro Tour and. Yeah.
I'm gonna be here all weekend, so please don't be shy. Just come and hit me up. Ask me stuff, have a chat, take a photo. I'll be doing signings. Like, one thing I would ask is card signings from 3 p.m. each day in the LSS booth, which is against that back wall to my right. But yeah, just don't be shy. I'm a gamer just like you. Come and have a chat.
Hi, James.
How you doing, Karshan?
Good. I'm the writer for A Grand Adventure and co-author of Warlock Hill.
Blame Yorick on this man. He named Yorick.
I just wanted to say, will Garbage Lord Kano be getting an Uprising spoiler? I'll leave now, thanks.
Ship it.
Ship it. All together now, everyone. Ship it.
Ship it. Ship it.
Hey, James, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, my name's Calvin Holt. My question is, Everfest is the most recent set that came out, and you have certain design expectations of how it's going to be introduced to players. And I'd like to hear what things that met your expectations about the set and aspects that didn't. And Starvo, it does not count.
So specifically for new players?
I guess you can tackle it from either angle you'd like to talk about it.
Okay.
I guess maybe more for competitive.
look, I think all in all, the set has been well received. It certainly left a mark on the metagame. I think that when you put Starvo to the side, you look at things like Icelander coming through. Like that hero came out with, pretty much minimal support, and yet she came into the Blitz format. She made an impact. It was really, it made me so happy to see Icelander doing well at Krakow, and cards like Pry seeing play. We made Pry specifically to break up the interaction of Skeleta and Sonata, and actually seeing players work that out and gravitate towards that, and seeing that in action at the calling played at the highest level, that was very pleasing to me. I think that there's still a lot of nuances in Everfest that are yet to be really appreciated, especially a lot of the talismans and amulets. I know they look kind of so-so on the surface, but some of those things are better than people have given them credit for yet, and we're starting to see some of them make decks. As far as collectability goes, those cold foils are dirt cheap at the moment, and decks are going to need 3 of these cards in the future. I'm just telling you, hot tip. But I think all in all, Everfest was good, it was solid. But what we have coming through the pipeline with Uprising and the set that follows it, I think is I think you guys are yet to see the best of Flesh and Blood. I'm really confident of what's coming through the pipeline. So ask me that question again
Next
at World
year.
Champs.
Okay, thank you.
One more, I think.
Maybe 2. One of them was a bit of a dud. Sorry, Karshan.
We won't tell you which. All right. Yep, fire away.
Hi, my name is Fino. So I'm mostly a social gamer from pre-pandemic, from Magic, a lot of Commander and stuff. And I kind of came into this game looking for something fresh and new because my Commander group fell apart. And when I heard about PvE, I was super excited about that because I love social gaming. And I was just wondering what you think. I realize it's still something in development. You're probably still, turn the knobs and everything. But what do you think PvE might look like in the future for us? And when could we maybe expect to start seeing our first products and first looks at that?
Yeah, so look, we're aiming for sort of a mid-2023 PvE launch. It is a big project for us, and we're working really hard to make it happen, but it's a really, really important project. We've got to get it right, and I think it's going to be quite incredible what we actually put out there for the fan base. It's unlike anything that a TCG has done yet, in my view. And it's going to be very, very collaborative. It's going to be campaign-based. It's going to be the sort of thing that you can get your buddies around, your friends, and play with your family, your girlfriend, partners, wives, whatever. And it can be very social. It's the sort of thing that you can play, you can put away and come back to a week later or 2 weeks later. That's the sort of vision that we have, where it's not about having winners and losers. It's about getting your group of friends together, and working collectively on a common objective, and for it to just be really fun. It just needs to be really fun and really immersive, and you're going to see some of our best integration between the lore and the storytelling and gameplay when PvE hits shelves.
Are you thinking it's gonna be kind of like a segue between almost like if you took card games and mixed it with D&D, where you're kind of going off on a book campaign and you're doing that kind of journey or whatever?
Yeah, so look, one of the things that we want to do with PvE is we don't want every PvE product that we release to be the same thing. There's going to be variances on what PvE actually is from release to release. Some of them will be like you explained, quite RPG-like. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about what Flesh and Blood is fundamentally. It is very RPG-like. You are playing as this hero. You do get to equip them, for the challenge that lays ahead. So you're going to see a lot of that immersive RPG elements coming through. There will be some source material that supports the actual product. And how deep you actually want to dive into that sort of storytelling and narrative will sort of be up to the group. You could just smash the bosses or whatever. That will be a valid thing. But if you actually want to go through the campaign and really follow the story arc, then that will be on offer as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love the game.
All right, one more.
One more. This is it. Make it a good one.
Hello.
No
Daniel
pressure.
from Spain here. Oh, you can hear it.
Can hear you.
To the judge station, please.
Hello, now? Okay. I would like to ask, the new expansion, the art really rocks, and I would like to ask you, how a big fan are you of Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah, funny that you asked that. I'm not a fan at all, to be honest. I never read it. I never seen it. But a few people have asked me that question. Like maybe some people in our creative department are fans of Avatar. Not me personally.
Maybe it's more about the the artwork team, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we have a full creative team that look. My role is like this, like designing what the set looks like and creating like the concept behind what the set is, including the theme. That then gets passed off to our development team to refine it and polish it, and then it gets passed off to our creative team to actually bring it to life. So to create the characters, and so they actually have a lot of sort of independence and free reign over what the actual characters look like. And maybe some of the people in our in-house creative team are fans of Avatar, like you say. Maybe. But look, we're trying to stay very true to Flesh and Blood just being a unique, original IP. That's important to us.
All right, I got the last question here, James. I think this is something that has come up very recently. It sort of circumvents not just Flesh and Blood, it transcends lots of card games, lots of games in general. Will there be NFTs in Flesh and Blood in any way, shape, or form?
No.
All right, that's a nice bookend for the Q&A. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you to the help here in the venue as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you, James, for your time. My name is Matt. That's James. We'll see you all tomorrow. There's still lots of food that I see, so please, line your pockets. Go home. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, folks. See you tomorrow.